What's going on, squad? It's Nate Bauer from Nate Bauer Fitness here with Coach Wayne once again to give you a vital video. But before we get into it, make sure you subscribe to the Nate Bauer Fitness YouTube channel. This is the 4 pillars of defense, risk versus reward. You're gonna love this video.
All right, and talking about the 4 pillars of defense, risk versus reward. The first one is footwork. Footwork is when you're in your basic boxing stance, you maintain the distance between your feet laterally and horizontally. So when you move directions, start off moving slowly. When you take a step to your left, move your left foot first. Then draw your right foot behind it. Small movements, small distances. Move forward, front foot first. Then pull your back foot up with it, back leg first. So you maintain the proper distance. As you become more comfortable with this, you do 2 steps at a time, 3 steps at a time. You try not to lift your center of gravity so high. You want to maintain the position that you're able to defend yourself as well as be able to execute offense very quickly. So as you become more confident and familiar with your footwork, you're going to be able to create better angles for yourself, offensively and defensively. You have to maintain the distance properly so that when you're moving forward or back, you're able to defend yourself, but also you have to be cognitively aware that when you're on your defense, you have a better chance of hitting your opponent when they're on their offense. So when you make these angles, be prepared to be able to punch, because when they make a mistake, you got to be able to capitalize on it very quickly. So remember, when you're doing this, as you become more familiar, you're able to move much quicker. The risk versus reward, well, the risk is not a great risk because you're not in range to be hit, but you're moving yourself out of range. The reward is you're not being hit. All right, now moving on to the second pillar of defense, and that is blocking. Blocking is very essential in the basics of defense. Learning how to high guard, tight defense, tight shell, so that you're impenetrable and you're able to still have the opportunity of hitting your opponent back. So when you go into your tight defense, you want to bring your hands up, high guard, turn your hands in slightly so you see the punches coming at you, and that by your very impenetrable defense. As you block for the body, you drop your weight back, bring your elbows tight to your hips, and not dropping your hands. On blocking drills and practicing, you want to have like an impenetrable defense, where you're tight with the hands high, elbows low, but also you can use that as you're moving. But you want to maintain your vision. You have to still, you can't cover up, so you can cover up your eyes. You have to have the vision in order to see your opponent, what's coming. As you start leaning, twisting against to block those blows, that'll give you greater opportunity of hitting your opponent back. Remember, most times boxers are hit on their offense, not their defense. The risk versus reward on blocking punches is that you allow your opponent to get closer to you, where they're actually throwing punches at you that are hitting the target, that you have to block them from being a scoring blow. But then the reward is they're close enough for you to hit them back. Pillar number 3, parry. Similar to your defensive block, your hands are held high and you allow the punch to come as close to the target as possible. At the last moment, you deflect it from the range, so the momentum of the punch is still carrying you forward, which gives you greater time to do your counter. When you're doing your parry, you want to be close enough to your opponents. They think they have the opportunity of hitting you. And then again, when they're throwing that punch at you, you deflect it at the last moment, and then you're able to give you a greater opportunity of countering their attack. The difference between blocking and parrying is that when you block the punch, you're stopping the momentum. When you're parrying the punch, you're allowing the momentum of the punch to carry forward to miss the target, which will give you greater opportunity and more time to counter their attack. Risk versus reward in parrying is that they see the target. You're giving them a bigger target for them to hit, and at the last second, you have to deflect it. So that the risk is you might get hit, the reward is you get ample time for you to be able to counter with at least 1 punch. All right, pillar number 4, slipping punches. Risk versus reward. The risk is great. You actually lure your opponent. You actually want your opponent to think that he's going to hit you. And that you lower your guard. Lowering the guard will increase your peripheral vision so that you're able to see the punch coming. At the last second, you want to move your body in a parallel position to the center of gravity is the same, that the punch misses you, you move back to the center target, and then you're able to counter much quicker. Make sure that when you're slipping punches, that you keep your eyes on your opponent, the center line, so your body does not sway away. And remember, when you're slipping, you have to go back to the center point where you started from, so you give them the illusion that you never moved, that they don't know why they missed you, so they'll continue to make the same mistake. Even when you're slipping, you have to keep your eyes on your opponent at all times. Those hands are coming in fractions of a second, and you have to be able to see them to be able to dodge them. Risk versus reward in slipping, it is a great risk you're taking. This is not a move that a novice should be making. It's a skilled competitor that has been able to master the move of slipping punches, that they're unable to hit you, and that you're able to much greater opportunity of hitting back.
And there you have it, Coach Wayne coming with the education once again. The 4 pillars of defense: the higher the risk, the greater the reward. It's a life lesson. Stay tuned for Coach Wayne and I bringing you guys seminars here on the channel where you're going to get all of the information you need on the elevated piece in these 4 pillars of defense and many, many more. I'll see you guys for the next workout.